Hello, Philadelphia. It's Beautiful Anonymous. 1 hour, one phone call, no names, no holds barred.
I'd rather go one-on-one. I think it'll be more fun, and I'll get to know you, and you'll get to know me.
Hi, everybody. Chris Gethard here. I know everybody doesn't love a long intro, so if you're looking to skip to the phone call, I forgot to time it this time, but I think it's probably like 9 minutes. I think if you skip like 9-10 minutes, you'll be right towards the beginning of the call. I might be totally wrong about that. My bad if so. Enjoy the call. Hi, everybody. Chris Gethard here. And I have to welcome you to Beautiful Anonymous. Few things to remind you of. First and foremost, I'm so excited that at the end of July, we're recording this July 2024, for anybody finding this far in the future. At the end of July, I believe it's July 25th, we are having a screening of the Space, Hope, and Charity documentary. This is a documentary made about our friend Charity, who a lot of you listened to years ago in an episode called Whirlpool Galaxy, which a lot of people point to as one of the foundational tentpole episodes of Beautiful Anonymous. And I've always agreed. Charity's done follow-up episodes and also appeared at Beautiful Anonymous, real big part of the fabric of this community. And the way it works is you can go sign up to get a screener of the film. You can watch it at your leisure, and then we're going to do a live Q&A at the end of the month. And all that info is at the Facebook group. It's at our Instagram. And it's pay what you want. It's suggested donation of $10, but if you're tight on cash right now, they just want you to see it and come hang out. So please do so. Some of the proceeds go to Charity herself, which I think she'd be mad that I'm plugging it, but I want to make sure I get my friends back and let you know. This money goes to not just this project, but also to this person who means so much to us. So psyched to be able to get to do that later. I'm also so psyched to be all over the country. The week you're hearing this is coming out on the 9th? The 9th of July? The 8th of July, I believe. Oh no, the 9th of July. And if this comes out on the 9th of July, I'm in Hazard, Kentucky tonight. On the 11th, I'm in Cordova, Tennessee. 13th, I'm in Fayetteville, Arkansas. Those are all part of this really cool thing I'm doing called the Great American Punchline Tour, where I'm touring with 5 other comedians, and they're all very, very different people, and we're all doing stuff that's kind of political, but aiming to be political and thoughtful and get people in the crowd thinking without getting people mad, which is such a tightrope to walk. Also, end of this month, tickets are selling great for my show in Pittsburgh, July 30th. Not as great in Morgantown, West Virginia, but that venue, 123 Pleasant Street, that's one of my all-time favorite venues. So I'm hoping everybody shows up. And then, of course, down the line, I've got Kansas City, St. Louis, Cudahy, Wisconsin, Chicago, Illinois, Ferndale, Michigan, Lakewood, Ohio, Somerville, Mass, Garwood, New Jersey, almost sold out. Much love to my Jersey people. Baltimore, I'll be back at the Otto Bar, my favorite venue, and Hamden, Connecticut, October 6th. So punchup.live/Chris Gethard for those tickets. Thanks to everybody who's been buying tickets. Really means a lot to me. And thank you so much. Now, speaking of live shows, I will tell you, we haven't scheduled any live Beautiful Anonymous shows for a while. I've been focusing on stand-up. But we just did one in Philadelphia. You're about to hear it. And it was so fun. People showed up, packed it out. It was part of a First Person Arts festival they held. They are such an above-board, great organization, and I hope everybody supports them. And if you're in the Philly area, they have story slams and storytelling workshops and all kinds of incredible stuff. And it was really a joy to be a part of their festival. Their festival is also sponsored by Wawa, which, as someone who grew up in the Northeast, that's weirdly meaningful to me. So thanks to everybody for having me and for coming out. And I have to say, first of all, just to plug them, firstpersonarts.org. And you can get all the info on how to participate in their programming. They're not paying me to say that. I was just so blown away by them and their festival and everything they do. And also just the kindness of everybody who works there that I want to make sure I plug, firstpersonarts.org. Can't wait to schedule some more live shows. I'm thinking that I'm going to really slow down with the stand-up. I've been pushing it hard, and I like it. But I also have a lot of feelings about it. But one thing I do know is that I want to do at least one more big round of live Beautiful Anonymous tapings. I think those will continue as long as the show does. But as I'm thinking more and more about, being a parent and how much time I spend on the road, yes, I love meeting people and doing shows and connecting with people and live entertainment and feeling that live connection. Recently did some shows in Lancaster, Pennsylvania and Woodstock, New York at the Bearsville Theater, this historic theater. It was incredible. And meeting the people involved with them, incredible. I loved it and I still love it. But it's also time away from my family. And that's getting very real now that Cal is 5. I mean, it's been real since he was born. But if I can strategize some ways to come off the road, I'm going to do so. But we got to get more live shows in because as you'll hear in this, man, they are fun. This was great. This was a great call. I've been loving this era of Beautiful Anonymous. I feel like we're on this very weird streak where the call, the cliche used to be, oh man, some of them are all over the map and crazy. And some of them people call up and they have a real agenda of items they want to get to and a story they want to tell. But we're now in this weird era that this show continues to always surprise me. I would say that 2024 is the era of people who call up and kind of have 1/3 to half of a story that they definitely want to get out. And then the other half to 2/3 of their time on the show, we just kind of vibe and wing it. And I've been loving it. And I'd love to hear what you guys think. And I'd love to hear if you also feel like there's been these different eras that have shifted. And I'm not sure exactly what that is. My guess is that something about going independent has subtly shifted the vibe, whether that's my comfort, whether that's Andrea's involvement. There's just a vibe to the show lately that I like that kind of feels like best of both worlds. And this, I think, has it. This caller is so funny and so charming, and there's so much stuff that comes up. It's funny. There's a bunch of stuff that came up where I was talking to some friends after the show who were there in the live audience who were like, man, if she had brought up the thing about being into rugs earlier, you could have just talked about that for an hour. I'm like, I know. I love it. I love how layered everything has felt lately with the show. A lot of what we talk about is that we are in a room in Philadelphia and she moved to Philly but did not grow up there. And she's able to bounce off the live crowd, her opinions on Philly itself and living there and what moving there is like and the East Coast, and asks questions of the crowd on how to become more acquainted with Philly and help integrate friends into Philly. But we also hear about her job and some disastrous stories from her dating life and how things are now and how her current life ties in heavily to the black metal scene, which is a notorious wing of heavy metal that's like the hardest of the hard heavy metal. It's just a good, entertaining, chill call that goes in a bunch of directions. I really hope you like it. I know I did. The bonus material, we did an interesting thing. Instead of using the list of 5 questions, we just kind of handed the mic around the crowd and let the Philly crowd ask 5 extra questions. And that was really joyous and fun as well. I want to think of in the future how to integrate that even more so. Anyway, it was a great time. Thanks to everybody who showed up. Thanks to First Person Arts for having us. Thanks to Philly for having my back, my East Coast neighbors. Thanks to the caller for calling in. Thanks to everybody. I just feel very grateful. I really do. And I'll be out on the road for the next week or so. Maybe I'll see some of you in Indiana and Tennessee and Kentucky and Arkansas and then Pittsburgh and Morgantown at the end of the month. Who knows? Anyway, thanks to everybody who signs up at beautifulanonymous.com, by the way. If you want to hear that bonus content, that's the best way to do it. I always like to keep you guys updated. We've had a slow week. We're up to 852 people as of this recording. Thanks to the 852 people, we're getting the full Beautiful Anonymous experience. Enjoy the call, everybody.
Thank you for calling Beautiful Anonymous. A beeping noise will indicate when you are on the show with the host.
Hi.
Hi, caller. How are you?
Hello?
Hi.
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm here with it. There's a couple hundred people in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. They're all very nice, and they got your back. Say hello to our caller, Philly.
top of the call. I'm so sorry, Sally, but fuck the PTA and go Birds.
Wow. So you're just playing. Are you from Philly as well, or are you just going for the cheap heat?
No. So I live just outside of Philly. I'm not from here originally, though. I've only lived here for a couple years.
Oh, so you do live in the greater Philadelphia area, though?
Yeah, I was gonna come to the show tonight, but my cat has a heart condition that he just got diagnosed with. He has a bunch of medication he has to take, so I had to be home to take care of him. But I was like, I'm going to call. I know that they're going to put the number up. I'm going to call in. I'm going to try my best.
Well, I'm very sorry to hear about your cat's medication situation, and sorry you can't be here tonight. But if it leads to us talking on the phone, that's a cool thing. I'm glad to have you.
Yeah, I'm so excited to get through. I've been listening to the podcast since 2016. So I don't know. This is just exciting.
Nice. Any ideas of what you want to talk about tonight, or are we just winging it?
Well, first off, I wanted to talk about the Kia Boys because I am a victim of the Kia Boys. Are you familiar with that?
The Kia Boys? What is Kia?
Yeah, the Kia Boys.
It seems like some people in the crowd are aware of what this is. Is this a Philly local thing? No. What is the Kia Boys?
No.
Am I saying that right? Like Kia, like the car company?
Yes, 100%.
So what are you talking about?
There was it was like a TikTok trend a couple of years ago. I want to say around pandemic. So I don't remember the exact year, maybe 2020 or 2021. So the older Kias and Hyundai too, or Hyundai, I don't know how to pronounce the car company, but their sister company, you can actually take a USB cord, like an Apple charger, and just jumpstart the car and steal it. So a bunch of teenagers were doing it. Like it was a TikTok trend, and they called themselves the Kia Boys.
This is not a bit. The two cars I currently drive are a Kia and a Hyundai. This is the first I'm hearing. I'm not kidding at all.
Wait, really? You've never heard?
I just recently upgraded to a Kia, and for a couple of years we've had a Hyundai, and I'm so scared now that someone's going to steal it with a fucking Apple charger. Are you serious?
Well, okay, you're okay if you have a newer car, because I listened to the podcast, and I'm pretty sure you just said that you got a new car recently, right?
Wow, you know a lot about me. Yes, it's true. It's true.
So the newer model, so my car is a 2021, and that was the cutoff. So now the newer, 2022 and older, or some of the other Kia models older, as long as if they have a push to start, you're okay. But they still might try and break your windows to get into the car. I know people who have also been victims of the Kia Boys. Now, and they have push to start.
My Kia should be safe because that one's new. But how amazing would it be if you were like, I was going to come to the show tonight, and then you call up, tell me you know a lot about me, and then you start talking about this, and then I go to leave tonight, and I get out to the parking lot, and my fucking Hyundai is gone, and this was like an Ocean's 11 where you distracted me in plain sight while you sent the Kia Boys to go get my Hyundai.
That would be a great scheme. That sounds great.
If there was a car thieving ring that only stole the hosts of podcasters while they were recording live podcasts, I would actually be an endorser of that. I think that would be a very funny and specific way to steal cars.
I mean, it's smart. I mean, a lot of people have recording schedules, so you could pretty much, you just have to find where they live. But with the internet these days, it's not that hard.
What if I saw someone in the crowd just quietly get up and start to walk out of the crowd while holding an Apple charger in their hand, as I have now made it clear that my Hyundai is parked somewhere nearby?
It's okay. There's tons of other Kias in the city, so yours will probably be fine. But mine did get stolen in Philly. So.
And how do you know it was Kia Boys and not a standard car thief?
Because they left the charger in my car when I got my car back. It was in the car.
So in some ways, they stole your car. In other ways, they gifted you a free charger.
Well, that's what I thought. I'm not going to lie. I was kind of excited because I had a really rough first half of the year. And when I finally got my car back, I knew that it was not my charger because I never had the right charger for my car. Because you know how the new phones, they always change, like USB-C type whatever.
It's bullshit, yeah.
So when I got my car back and I saw the charger, I was like, thank you. They left me something. But it didn't work. So I think that maybe when they jumped to the car, it made it, it shorted it. I don't know, but...
Now, do you call the police at that point and say, hey, I think I got a lead on these Kia boys. They left behind a charger. You want to fingerprint it, or do you just move on with your life?
No, please. Okay, no, please, because this is why I wanted to tell this story, because you see so many crime shows, so you'd be like, it's so easy to figure out who stole this car. The fingerprints are everywhere. But I reported my car stolen in Philly the night that I saw it. So I had left it in front of my work over the weekend. And I do have a steering wheel off, but I didn't put it on. I was stressed, whatever. So I reported it I went into the Philly police department. I didn't call because I knew they weren't going to show up. So I went in, reported it stolen. I did not hear back. I thought it was gone forever. I get a letter, so this is the end of January. I get a letter from the Camden Police Department the middle of March saying that they had my car and that if I didn't come in within 30 days, that they were basically the car was theirs. Sorry, I got lost with my story.
It's okay. It sounded like the Camden police stepped up, but then vaguely threatened you.
Okay, this is so crazy. Okay, so the letter was postmarked for March 1st. I didn't get it till March 17th. And then on that day, I drove to Camden because I'm calling the Camden Police Department. They don't answer their phone, which, makes sense. Why would they? So I went in, and they ended up actually finding my car in Camden a week after I reported it stolen, and no one told me that they found it.
Well, on behalf of New Jersey, you're welcome.
I am very thankful that, I had to buy a new steering wheel column, which was $4,000, which is so crazy. But and I had to buy 2 new wheels, but other than that, my car was pretty good, so I was thankful for that. But it was a whole thing, and on top of that, the police department had put it in a tow lot for the city that I had to pay $1,000 in tow fees to get it out when they never even told me it was there.
Wait, they made you pay that fee?
Yes!
That's
it
bullshit.
Sounds illegal, right?
Yeah, that's bullshit.
Yeah, no. Well, do you want to hear another crazy thing is I had cash, and I told the girl the story. I was like, look, I just found out that, literally today, I found out that you had my car. And she let me pay $500 instead of $1,000, so.
Oh, wow. They only grifted you for $500. Well, look, Camden County politicians need in-ground pools, too, so... like I said earlier, though, I'm not from this area originally. And I don't know if you just heard that. I was driving. I just got home, and I just put my steering wheel lock on my car. Just to add that. That's good. That's good. We got to stop these Kia boys in their tracks. Where did you move from?
I'm going to switch over. I'm going to take my AirPods out really quick and switch over to my phone so I sound better.
That sounds good.
All right.
I'm going to go ahead.
All right, hello?
Hey. Oh, you do sound a little better. Hi.
Yeah, okay, sorry about that.
This is, we got some feedback. We've got some feedback for you from the people in the room, if you want it. It seems like a good point. My brother says, go to the Camden car auction and buy a Kia Sorento on the cheap. And RLC says, go Phillies.
Yes.
That is the bulk of our... And Scarlett says, new rap group named Kia Boys. There's no way that's not taken. There's no way. Let's see. Lauren says...
Kia Boys with a Z, though.
Oh, yeah. Believe me, they spelled it all caps with a Z. You're on the same page. And then Lauren says, my Uber driver told me about the Kia Boys, and I thank him for his service, even though I do not have a Kia. There you go, Lauren. There you go, Lauren. So where did you grow up?
I grew up in, Central California, right in the middle of California. So I pretty much lived there my whole life, and I moved to the East Coast, I don't know how many years ago, but I've been on the East Coast since 2018. And I moved to Philly a couple years after I originally moved to the East Coast. I love it here. I love the East Coast. And I love Philly. I lived near LA and I've lived in a couple different cities, but Philly is, I don't want to say I love-hate because I don't hate it, but it's like any city. But the sense of community in Philly is just so great. And I do love it.
Look at you buttering up the crowd.
I know. I'm so sorry.
No, that's okay. Am I wrong in saying, though, that you do sound a little bit like you have a Philly accent? Am I the only one in the room thinking that? No. Other people are? There's Philly people here sensing it? Do you feel like you've taken on a bit of the Philly accent since you moved here?
Yeah, no, this is so crazy because I've told my coworkers this and my boyfriend because growing up in California, I felt like I never really had an accent. I just haven't had an accent. And lately, I've been saying certain words, and I'm like, holy shit, I am, it's happening. And I've only been here for a few years.
Let's do a test. Why don't we do a Philly accent test? What do you dry yourself off with after you get out of the shower?
I can't do it on the spot. Towel.
See, that was very funny. So you said towel, and I went yes, and the whole crowd in Philly went no, because at some point you'll lose that towel. W in the middle of there. Oh, that was closer. And the obvious one. What do you drink? What's that main fundamental life-giving substance? I know in California you don't have any.
Water.
You haven't started saying water yet. Okay.
No, not water. It's also when I'm speaking fast or I'm mad, I notice it's my vowels. I notice I'm saying bag instead of bag or bagel.
So you're getting there. I also like hearing that it's when you get angry, which just kind of indicates that the Philly accent might just be an angry Californian.
I don't know if this is a thing because I've never heard anyone else say it, but my boyfriend calls it Hoagie mouth.
Hoagie mouth? Everyone in the crowd knows exactly what you're talking about. What does Hoagie mouth refer to?
It's the Delco accent.
Oh, that's the Delco accent. Caller, you'll be happy to hear that I just went, what does Hoagie mouth refer to? And the whole crowd went quiet, and one guy, as if I was a complete fucking idiot, went, it's when you got a Hoagie mouth. And I just heard it from 6 rows up. It's when you got a Hoagie mouth. Point taken.
They know what's up.
They do. Well, I feel lucky to talk to you. It's funny because I feel like most people, the popular cliche is that people grow up on the East Coast and then head west. And that's kind of the whole manifest destiny thing. As a lifelong East Coaster, it's nice to hear somebody who moved out here and actually likes it.
Yeah, no, I love it. Growing up in California, I was always I'm never going to move. I only want to live here. Or if I move, I'm going to move to somewhere like Oregon or maybe Colorado. But it was the only reason, or a couple of reasons why I moved. I had just graduated college a couple of years before that, lived not in city proper LA, but near that area. And it just really broke me down. And my parents my dad is from Maine. So he retired from the Navy and my parents basically had this thing because a lot of military kids, they move around a lot when they're younger, but my parents like made a pact that we could stay in one area for as long as possible. And then he could move to wherever he wanted when he retired. So he ended up moving back to where he was from. And the person I was dating at the time was also living on the East Coast. So I thought it would be, like, why not? I'm young. I'm going to do it. If I hate it, I can always move back. And then New England is amazing. I was like, this is amazing. I can't see myself living anywhere else now. Not that I live in New England now, but just the East Coast. I love it. I love... What?
Well, I think everyone was laughing because you immediately said, you said, I can't imagine ever living anywhere else. And then we all did the math and went, sounds like you lived there for like 18 months.
Where? Oh, in Maine.
Yeah.
I lived there for New England. Yeah, sorry. I lived there, maybe like 2 years.
Yeah, no,
I don't know
fair.
the exact time frame, but I did, yeah. But yeah, I forgot what I was saying. But
that's okay.
I saw a video once talking about like the difference between the East Coast and West Coast, which I love, and I always explain this to people when they want to know the differences. And on the West Coast, you get a flat tire, someone looks at you and they're like, oh man, that really sucks, and they drive away. On the East Coast, you get a flat tire, and someone's like, what, no one ever showed you how to change a tire, you fucking dickhead? And then they change the tire for you.
Right.
The
cliche is that the West Coast is nice but not kind, and the East Coast is kind but not nice.
Yeah, I love that. I hate the fake nicety of the West Coast.
I love that you are calling up in front of a Philly crowd with a Jersey host, talking shit about California as the topic of your call. Cheers from the Philly crowd.
California is nice. I just don't want to live there again unless I was making a lot of money. It just doesn't make sense. California is beautiful. It has so many great things. It's just not. Now that I've lived somewhere else, I just like the pace and the attitudes of people here. Even if they are a little bit harsher, I'd rather just someone be upfront with me than fake it.
Now, you've been in Philly a couple of years. We're here with the Philly crowd. They're enjoying the fact that you are becoming one of them and rejecting California vocally. They are on your side. You've lived here a couple of years. What would you say is the most Philly shit you've seen since you moved here? I'm going to pause right there and let you know if there's anything that will ever set off a comment section, it's everyone listing the most Philly shit they've seen. Because if you've spent any time in Philly, you eventually do see some Philly shit, and I love that so much. So I can't wait to hear about all of these. Anyway, we'll be right back. I tell you, I am packing for a trip right now. I have a suitcase that is open because I'm leaving at 7 in the morning, and I'm sitting here trying to get everything I need in there. And one of the first items I've grabbed was my beautiful gray sweater from Quince. I have a sweater that I wear anytime I need to feel confident. It's so well made. It fits the right way. It frankly looks a lot more expensive than it is, and I get compliments on it all the time, and it's from Quince. Okay? Make Quince your go-to for high-quality essentials like me. All the vacation essentials, right? They've got European linen shirts. They've got shorts from $30, breathable tees and polos, hard shell luggage, so much more. And the best part is all Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. By partnering directly with top factories, Quince cuts out the cost of the middleman. They pass the savings on to all of us. And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices and premium fabrics and finishes. I have to tell you, I love that. One of the ways to be activist is to choose where you spend your money. And by working with companies doing stuff in an ethical way, you are doing your part. Kudos to Quince for making that possible. And if you ever come see me in a show and you see me in a gray sweater and you're like, man, Geth kind of looks good in that sweater, it's my sweater from Quince. And that's not a joke. I wear it all the time. Pack your bags with high-quality essentials from Quince. Go to quince.com/beautiful for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/beautiful to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/beautiful. Thanks again to our advertisers. Now let's get back to the phone call. You've lived here a couple of years. What would you say is the most Philly shit you've seen since you moved here?
Oh, God. That's a good question. I've never really thought about it. One thing that I love about Philly that I never experienced anywhere else is every single time you go to any event, someone either screams "Go Birds" or there's an Eagles chant. And I don't know why. It never gets old to me. It's so great. And nowhere else does that. For no reason either. Like, it's not related to anything that's happening.
There's people now. You're fomenting this crowd. I might not make it out of here alive. This might be just a quiet, slow burn for you to get them to turn on my North Jersey ass so I can try to barely escape, only to find that my Hyundai is gone. That might be it. Can I tell you the most Philly thing I've ever seen? And probably the thing I remember from an early visit here where I was like, oh, Philly just works a little different. My brother, he moved.
Oh, yeah.
My brother moved down here in 1995 to go to LaSalle University. And I was a college sophomore, and I went to stay with him one weekend with him and his friends. And it was wall-to-wall fucking debauchery that I should not have been a part of, looking back on it at the age of 16. And my brother's here tonight, and he'd be the first to agree with that. But at one point, he took us we went to a 40 store that just sold 40s. It just sold 40s of malt liquor over by LaSalle. And we were both underage, and we went in, and when we went in, a guy followed us in, and he was shirtless, wearing Zubaz pants, and he had like a weed whacker, like a hedge trimmer. And then he like blocks the door, and he was like, "You guys got any change?" And we were like, yeah, you know we do. And we had to give this man money to exit the 40 store. And I was 16 years old, and I was just like, damn, wow, man, Philly's gonna Philly sometimes, I guess. Like, I never forgot that. Never forgot that.
Yeah, that's great. I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but I know some things that my partner's told me, and I don't think that he would care if I'm telling you these stories. I also don't think that this is, well, I'll start off with one of them. He went to college here. He's from Jersey, too, so, like, he's from this area. And the corner store by where their, like, college house was would buy textbooks, so buy their textbooks, and then they would give them beer for it.
Beer for textbooks. That's amazing. Amazing.
Yeah. So, yeah, and then another time he told me they were having, like, a house party, and some girl left her purse on the couch, which you should never do that in general. But she left her purse on the couch, and I guess it had her car keys in it. And some homeless guy came into the party and stole her car. I think they ended up finding it, like, not too far away, like, kind of fucked up. But, yeah, I just thought that was kind of funny. Like, just a homeless guy walked in, took her car keys, no one even noticed it.
Love that one. We've got some feedback. Lauren says, moved to Philly 4 months ago, and I agree. I've met so many cool people here immediately. The community vibes are amazing. The nuance appreciator wants to know, does California deny or debate the existence of Central California like New Jersey denies the existence of Central New Jersey?
Oh, my God. So let's talk about this. So they don't deny Central California. People just hate on it. But what is with the Central Jersey hate? This is something else I wanted to talk to you about, because I've always liked New Jersey. I don't understand the Jersey hate. Anyway, my partner is from Central Jersey, and we went to go to New Jersey is the World taping, and you were talking shit about how Central Jersey doesn't exist. And I've been trying to get him to listen to New Jersey is the World, and he was like, no, why would I listen to this?
A fair reaction.
He was very offended.
Well, let him know that I've come to admit that Central Jersey does exist. I'm not, yeah.
I told him, I did. I heard. Well, I don't remember if it was on Beautiful Anonymous, where it was at, but I did hear it, and I told him. I was like, he did say
I've changed my ways.
It's okay.
We've got Mark saying, I saw a girl get proposed to at Frankfurt Hall, only to get immediately followed up by an Eagles chant. Sure hope she was a fan. Kyle says,
yeah.
Instantly slagging off California is honestly iconic behavior. And Kyle also wants to know, what's your favorite cheesesteak place?
So I'm a vegetarian. So,
Someone just yelled something that all I heard was the word. Here's what I heard. I heard 3 people cheer your vegetarianism. I'm also a vegetarian. I heard a bunch of people grumble / brew, and then I had one guy in the back say something, and all I could make out was this: California, as a response to your vegetarianism. They have now rejected you as a Philly person.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm not saying that I'm a Philly person. That's fine. But I have heard that what I would tell people is Joe's or Jim's. I've never had either, but I don't know if that's the right answer.
Everybody's starting to grumble. This is not good. People now, I like this running trend. People now just filling in where they've heard Eagles chants, including my brother, the financial guru, who says, my friend Brian started an Eagles chant at a Bell and Sebastian concert. It's just the fucking
every
funniest.
concert does not matter who's playing.
That is so good. Oh, now RLC follows up. A number of people booed you for being a vegetarian. RLC shows some empathy and humanity and just says, what's your favorite vegetarian cheesesteak? Philly has so many great options.
Okay, so I'm going to get more hate. But, like, a lot of places do mushroom or, like, seitan cheesesteaks, and they just don't I don't like it. It's not something that I will ever order.
That's fair. I don't have a favorite. How does the crowd feel about Anthony Bourdain saying that the best cheesesteak is actually at Donkey's in Camden? Is that an offensive thing to say, or are people like, no, Donkey's is good? I have to stop asking questions that will get people mad at me. We have to move on. Caller, what else would you like to... Wow, this one's flying by. We've only got 34 minutes left.
Well, first off, I just want to say I don't agree with anything Camden does after they did this with my car. So I'm going to disagree, even though I've never been there.
Lauren just left us another comment, caller, and said, a man in a band I was seeing told a deep personal story about his dead grandfather, then yelled, "Go Birds," and immediately started playing a slow indie song in Manayunk. So... there you go. The merging of Eagles chants and indie rock is being exposed here today on Beautiful Anonymous.
Yeah. I love that.
Now, caller, you moved out here. Your dad had moved out here. You were dating a guy. It sounds like you're not dating that guy anymore.
No, fuck him, for real. It ended... He was not a great partner, and I will say there were many red flags that were ignored. But I found out a year later, so he broke up with me over text, and then basically broke up with me over the text message, and then never said anything else to me ever again until a year and a half later, which is besides the point. But I found out he was cheating on me because I was still friends with him on Facebook. I don't really use Facebook, so it's not like I unfriend people I wasn't like, I need to unfriend him on Facebook now. But his girlfriend had posted a 1-year anniversary post, and I was like, oh, these dates don't line up.
That sucks.
So, yeah.
And let's keep in mind, you moved across the country in part for this person.
Yes, but it's fine because I met my partner 5-6 months after that, and my partner now, we've been together for 5 years, and he's amazing. So
it
and
all
he's
worked out.
from this area. Yeah, so it all worked out, yeah.
Now, when you find out, when you're like, wait, 1 year anniversary, that's 4 months of crossover with me. Like, when you find that out, did you even bother reaching out to that guy? Did you even say, like, hey, dickhead, I figured out the math on this one, or do you just move on?
I just moved on. I think I had reached out to him one time because he was still using my Hulu account, and that really pissed me off, the audacity. You know? So I told him that I changed the password, and then he texted me, like, I'm assuming after him and his girlfriend broke up. I don't know. Maybe he was trying to cheat on her. But he just texted me one day, like, hey, like, nothing had ever happened. This is, like, the first time he had talked to me since he sent the breakup text. And so I responded, hey, with a picture of me and my partner. And then he didn't respond.
Well done. I can't help but note, though, you found out he had most likely cheated on you. You said, live and let live, I'm going to move on. You find out this motherfucker's using your Hulu. You do let him know what's up.
Yeah, the audacity. What was I going to get out of
You got
me?
a girl on the side, motherfucker. I can take a deep breath. I can move on. I can tell myself it's not worth it. You're trying to watch Reservation Dogs on my fucking dime? Get the fuck out with that shit.
Yeah. Exactly. It crosses a new line. You know, I can't explain it, but someone out there will get me.
And is it all streaming services that would have that reaction, or do you have a particular devotion to Hulu in particular?
Probably all, but I don't have any other streaming services. I also just canceled my Hulu too, so sorry, Hulu. But hopefully
be okay.
they've never been a sponsor on the pod, so it's fine.
It's fine. It's fine. And I think they'll also hear, if Hulu's listening and does want to sponsor and they're going, wait, there's been shit talked about Hulu, it's not anything about your service. Your service is great. We all love your service. You got The Bear and Reservation Dogs, 2 shows that I have loved in recent memory. It's just that when it becomes implicitly tangled up in the heartbreak of your recent breakup and this shitty behavior from this untrustworthy man, it's hard for you to separate those feelings from those of Hulu. And Hulu should still feel free to advertise on Beautiful Anonymous if they do feel so inclined.
Yeah,
that's all we're saying here. That's all we're saying here. So your new partner, he's a Jersey guy.
Yeah,
I like that. You like him a lot. It sounds like you wound up in greener pastures.
Yeah. So I love Jersey, and it's so funny because I never saw myself living on the East Coast, but I told actually, let me back up. My boyfriend's best friend's also from Jersey. They grew up together. He told me that New Jersey is my spirit state because, I don't know, I just like New Jersey. I like trauma movies. I don't know. I just like Jersey things. And I would like to be an honorary Jersey girl, but I'm not a Jersey girl. But I love it.
Well, as someone who has a vested interest in New Jersey, I could say just the fact that you like it and are vocal about that means you probably could be an honorary Jersey girl. It's pretty much all it takes. It also would help if you got a necklace of your own first name. That helps too.
I've been trying to get him and then his friend. I was like, you guys got to listen to this New Jersey is the World podcast. Because, you know, it talks about places that you grew up and, like, things that you guys did, and then they never listened to it. And then finally his friend was like, why do you listen to this? It makes no sense. You're not, like, what are you getting out of this?
It's a fair.
I was like, I don't know.
A fair reaction. We've got some more feedback from the crowd here. Caller, you're going to love this. We have people telling the most Philly experiences they've had. Liz says, I saw 4 different people. One of each I went to elementary school, middle school, high school, and college with in one bar, in one night, in Sea Isle, a.k.a. Philly Jr. That was there. Scarlett asks a great question. Does were you able to see what your cheating ex was watching on your Hulu? Were you tracking what he was watching?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't remember what it was, but that's how I knew that he was using it, because it was probably some cartoon thing. Like, he was a huge stoner. I had never ever seen him sober, so it was probably like some kind of like Adult Swim show. I don't remember.
And you moved across the country for this guy.
Dude, I know. There was... Okay, I'll just get into it. So we actually met on Tinder, and this was the big... So many red flags. One of them was he was in a touring band, and we matched on Tinder. That was the first red flag. Whatever. Musicians... I'm so sorry to musicians in the crowd. This is going to turn people off, but they are a red flag. He got kicked out of his band for saying some shit to another girl, and I was like, yeah, this is fucked up. You shouldn't have done that. And then I still dated him after that. It was a lot. It was a lot.
I think even most musicians would say, yeah, musicians can be a fucking handful. And I say that as an artist. Like, up until me, my wife had a very firm never date a man with a headshot rule. And I think I understood that. What are some other red flags here?
I mean, they have... What was that?
Oh, no, you were about to say something.
Oh, I was going to say, but a lot of people have headshots now. Like, most corporate jobs, they have headshots and stuff. But I don't know. I have mixed feelings on that. It's like I would date a guy in corporate for the money, but I also don't like the corporate. I'm so sorry. I don't want to piss people off.
What?
But people who speak corporate, that work in corporate, I can't stand it.
But you would date them for money.
If they were also a good person.
Sure. What does your current boyfriend do? Or your current partner? I'm sorry.
He works for a metal label.
Did you say a metal label?
Like black metal.
He works for a record label that releases black metal releases?
Yes, this sounds like such a red flag too. Oh my god! Now that I'm saying it out loud.
This is amazing. And so that means he's pretty deep into the black metal scene. Black metal, my understanding being like the heaviest of heavy metal, and also the phrase has some associations with like Nordic countries with bands that like burn down churches and stuff like that.
Yes, I find this is another thing that I do like about black metal. I'm not really a metal person. It's never really been my genre of music. But I do like to go to black metal shows because it feels like, this is a Gen Z term. I'm sure you will probably know it, but it feels very girly pop to me because they have these outfits and the makeup and the theatrics. Like, it is so, like... I don't know. I can't explain it. Like, it's supposed to be this heavy, masculine, scary thing, but it's not.
Now, when you date someone who is involved in the world of black metal, do you get to know members of black metal bands?
A lot of their bands are from overseas, so not really. I mean, there are bands... we don't like hang out with any of them or anything. So
right.
No, but it is interesting because I work in the tattoo industry. So I'm around a lot of heavily tattooed people who are generally more scary. They don't scare me, but when I'm around those like band people, they're the sweetest people ever, but they scare me. Like, there's something intimidating about them.
This is
I do have a story, though.
Go for it. I need to know where this is going. I want to hear stories about black metal bands, and I know you do too, and we'll get to those when we get back. So happy to tell you about Stories Podcast, which is one of the longest running podcasts for kids. And I'm a dad, and I know there's a lot of parents who listen to this show. And man, is it important to have entertainment for kids that's good for you too. Stories Podcast has over 500 episodes, so you can dive in right now and find something for the whole family. Every single week, Stories Podcast brings you a family-friendly story. Your kids are going to love it. There's classic myths out there with favorites like Zeus and Thor and Anansi. There's morale fables, Tortoise and the Hare. There's classics. There's Winnie the Pooh, Peter Rabbit, Snow White, Rapunzel. There's also a lot of original stories that can only be heard as part of the Stories Podcast. It's a great way to offer up some entertainment that doesn't depend on a screen. It's a great way to enjoy some family time. Okay, whether you're in the car, whether you're just trying to relax in the house, whether you're trying to wind down a big energy stretch with your kid with some stories for them to focus on, it's really great. The writing is tight. The performances are incredible. There's songs in there. All sorts of stuff for you and the kids to love. So look right now on Apple, Spotify, wherever you find your podcasts. Search Stories Podcast in your app and look for the green girl and dragon logo.
Are you a lover of all things dark and creepy, of graveyards and monsters, haunted houses and spooky legends? Then welcome to Lore. I'm Aaron Mankey. For close to 10 years now, I've been sharing history's darkest stories with millions of listeners around the world. Tune in each week as we explore the folklore, ghost tales, and local legends that delivered the chills you're looking for. Learn more and subscribe today over at lorepodcast.com.
Thanks again to all of our advertisers. Now let's finish off the phone call. This is
I do have a story, though.
Go for it. I need to know where this is going.
It's actually not. It's not that funny. But one of the bands we went to go see, we were in their green room. I can't remember what country they're from. They don't speak English very well, and in the green room, like, the fridge is stocked with stuff. And he offers me water, and it's a White Claw. And we had to explain, like, this is not drinking water, like, it's White Claw. But that was funny. But
So some, like, Scandinavian Viking descendant bass player is drinking White Claw like water, and you had to explain to them, no.
No, he wasn't drinking it. He offered it to me. Like, he was like, do you want some water?
Got it,
and,
yeah.
No, he wasn't drinking it. It's
Okay.
fine. Yeah.
That's good. I'm glad that we weren't alcohol poisoning. That would be a very sad reason for a black metal musician to go to the hospital if I didn't know that White Claw wasn't water. Lauren says black metal is so
ahead.
girly pop is not the take I expected, but I don't hate it. Scarlett wants to know some songs you've been listening to. Liz says that the black metal thing is not your current boyfriend's red flag. It's that he's from the debated territory known as Central Jersey. My brother wants to know if you have any thoughts about black metal legend JoJo Stormstrike. And Liz wants to know if you have any weird tattoo stories.
Oh, wow, there's a lot. I don't know JoJo Stormstrike. I'm not familiar with that. I don't know a lot of black metal stuff other than what my boyfriend tells me. So I would love to know what that is and then give an opinion on it.
We can... Let's not get tangled up in whatever this is. Are you a tattoo artist?
No, I manage a shop. I do not. This is another common question I get a lot. I've been managing this shop for like 4 years. I do not want to be a tattoo artist. I hate touching people. I don't want to deal with people for hours on end. But yeah, so I basically do everything except tattoo.
Now, do you get people walking in where you're the front line of defense, where if they come in and say, like, I want this tattoo, that you have to be the first person to be like, I'm so sorry, you just need to consider that that's a bad tattoo, and I don't know if you want to commit to it. Like, is that a conversation you would have, or would that be more for the artist?
So luckily, I work at a private studio, and we're pretty hidden away, so we don't have walk-ins. I would not be able to handle working at a walk-in shop in Philly. That would be some crazy next level stuff.
I think that's true. What's your favorite tattoo you've seen someone get at your shop?
I don't know. That's a good question. I'm trying to think of anything Philly related, but I can't. I'm sure there's something, but I don't know. I like not a funny or great answer, but I really like seeing when people get really large projects done and seeing them finished. It takes a lot. People don't realize how much dedication, money goes into it, and it's really cool to see a completed piece and like how it moves with someone's body. It really is a piece of art.
Are there any tattoos, and without being too specific to the degree that they would make a person feel bad, where you saw them happen and you were like, that's awful?
Yeah. Well, okay. Awful in the sense of I would not get that, but they were executed well because all the artists at our shop are amazing. But one time that I can remember specifically, these two girls came in to get matching best friend tattoos, and they had been best friends for a long time, but one of the friends was really, really, really mean to the other friend, and it was the first time where I considered being like, hey, you should not get this tattooed together. Like, I was worried for her.
So one of the best friends there for the best friend tattoos was kind of like verbally abusing the other in front of everybody?
Yes. The whole time. It was so uncomfortable.
That sounds like a real bad day at the tattoo shop.
Yeah, it was like, it's like, what do you do in that situation? Because it's not I don't actually know them, and it's not my responsibility. So I just sit back and let it happen.
That's fair. And are you do you have a bunch of tattoos on your own?
Yeah, I have. I'm not like super heavily tattooed, but I have tattoos.
How did you come to manage the tattoo shop?
So when I first moved to Philly, it was actually the day before the city shut down for COVID, which was really poor timing on my part. But I was working in social media at the time, and I was doing other jobs. I worked, I don't know how specific I should be. I think I can be specific because I don't think I know anyone who listens to this podcast, and I'm not saying anything bad anyway that people don't already know. I worked at Home Depot.
It's not as popular as it used to be.
That was horrible. I'm sorry. I'm not saying anything about myself that I don't want anyone to know.
You can't argue with math. I know. Maybe a couple of years ago when the show was really popping off, you wouldn't say this, but now that no one's fucking listening, you can say whatever you want.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm just messing around.
But I worked at Home Depot in South Philly, and then I worked at, which is no longer there, Marshall's, that was in the center city, which is now closed because it was so bad. It got robbed every single day. Anyway, I worked a lot of really, really bad jobs, and I was looking for just a social media job, and I knew someone who knew the people who owned the shop. They were looking for a social media manager. They hit me up, and I said, sure, why not? And then a couple months after that, their apprentice left. So normally a lot of shops will have either the shop owner or the apprentice will be the shop manager. It's not usually like a job that people have separate to their relationship with the studio. Does that make sense?
It does. It does.
Like, yeah, so their apprentice left, and since I was already working at the shop, they asked me to step up. So that's basically how I got the job, just knowing people. Honestly, Twitter is how I've gotten a lot of jobs via social media. It's also how I met my partner. RIP now that it's X, but shout out Twitter. Love that.
How'd you meet your partner over Twitter?
So I guess he had been liking a bunch of my tweets, and I didn't notice it. But he told me that he felt creepy, so he followed me because he didn't want me to think that he was weird for liking all my tweets and not following me. And we had a bunch of mutuals in common. Like, it shows you, like, the number of people that have mutuals, and it was, like, 80, 90 people in common. And so I messaged him, like, some kind of joke, like, oh, look forward to your content. I'm surprised that we don't know each other. We have a lot of mutual friends. And then we never stopped talking after that. We just kept talking.
Look at that. And now you've been together half a decade. Maybe Twitter's not the world-ending, society-crushing cesspool I assume it is at most times.
Yeah, I told him he's the exception, too, because after my ex, I said I'm never dating another musician. And it should have been a red flag that he was probably a musician with all of our mutuals. But I told him, if I had known that, we would have never been together. But I'm glad that we are. I'm glad the world has worked this way.
Now, Kim asks an important question that I forgot to follow up on. Thank you, Kim, for the reminder. How's the cat doing? What's going on with this cat? You told us about the sick cat.
Oh, yes. So he's doing a little bit better. It's actually very, very common for cats to develop heart disease. It's one of the most common silent killers in cats. And basically, when we adopted him, he had a heart murmur, heart condition that we knew about. And he got out a couple months ago. I think it pushed him over the edge into heart failure. And so now he's out of heart failure, but he only has, we don't know how long he has to live, but he's on a bunch of medications, and he's been doing better. Like, he's breathing better and everything. So right now, he's good.
Kim, I want to retract.
Thank you for asking.
Yeah, no, I'm glad we followed up, but man, it did get instantly sad in the room. Instantly sad.
Oh, it's okay. I've come to terms with it. I was really sad about it at first, but I'm glad that we've given him the best life possible. It's also, I was going to talk about this earlier. So my boyfriend's boss, I don't know what his title is, owner of the U.S. version of the label. He used to rescue cats in Philly all the time. And everyone in their office has a cat that he adopted. It's just like, I don't know, it's so sweet because you see like black metal, whatever. They're mean, evil people. But he's so sweet. And I got 2 cats from him. So I don't know.
There's like a black metal, there's like a point person in American black metal distribution who has a soft spot for rescuing and redistributing cats to loving homes.
Yes, he's amazing.
And yet he distributes music that is viewed as scary, satanic music that glorifies death.
You would be surprised. I feel like a lot of people who listen to metal also have cats. Like, I feel like there's definitely a crossover
so you're saying
there.
Metalheads are cat people in general?
Yeah.
That's,
100%.
Really? You're passionate about this. You stand by this. I wonder how much feedback I'm going to get from the metal community about their love of cats. Why do metalheads love cats?
Oh, yeah. I think it's just the personality of cats. Like, cats, or they can be seen as aggressive or scary, too, but they're very sweet. And, I don't know, I don't know how to articulate this, but a lot of metal is also really fucking nerdy. Like, it's not, I don't know, when you read the lyrics, it's for nerdy people. It's not for, like, scary murderers.
Well, I will never forget, and obviously they are hugely commercial, and black metal is much more underground. But, growing up, I am of an age when Metallica was this, like, brooding... Like, they were this, like, brooding, scary, angry band, and James Hetfield had the hair and the mustache and everything. And then we all watched that documentary where they, like, went and saw a marriage counselor because they couldn't get along with each other. And it was, like, very cheesy and sort of hard to watch, but there's also something about it that's like, oh, right, they're also just, like, insecure people trying to make art at the end of the day. Like, the image might be scary, but they're artists. They are artists, and they have that sort of soft, cheesy side as well.
Yeah, I wish I could have just had my partner talk to you, because I feel like he has way better stories than me, and I'm just telling all of his stories. But he told me this one band, so they cover themselves with, like, pig blood that they make their merch girl get before the show, like, from local butchers and stuff. And they get all crazy on stage. They get really scary. and then you see them running, stripping all their clothes off, naked backstage immediately after they're done playing to go take a shower and wash everything off. And I just feel like that's such a funny sight.
So they cover themselves in pig blood, but they are like, why did we commit to this as our thing? Why is this our thing? God damn it. And then they just are all grossed out after the shows.
Yeah, I've also heard, I don't remember the band, but apparently there's some band that actually buries their clothes in their backyard before they go on tour, and they notoriously smell horrible because they make their clothes smell as bad as possible.
That's not a cool way to treat the venue staff.
It's just silly. Like, it's so performative. Like, let's plan this ahead and bury our clothes in the backyard. Like, that's so nerdy to me. I don't know why.
We've got some feedback. We've got Philly Ricken, who says this label needs to release a black metal album to benefit cat rescues and call it girlypop. Hope the Kickstarter goes up tonight. The Nuance Appreciator says metalheads are soft, same. And then Liz, in what I think is one of the most beautiful anonymous fan base comments of all time, says, as a mediator, I'm proud that Metallica went into counseling, which is a very on-brand thing for this fan. Oh, and Scarlett also points out that black metal in its own way, Scarlett says black metal is camp as fuck. And it is in a way just kind of similar to camp, right? I will tell you, man, I was never into metal. I was always a pop punk guy. But a couple years ago, my wife and I went to Key West, and we went to a drag show. And I'd never been to a live drag show before. And then I was at this drag show in Key West, and I was like, oh, drag is just in many ways fucking hardcore for the queer community. Like, it's get in your face, we won't back down, we're going to make you fucking uncomfortable. And I remember it blew my mind where I was like, oh, I recognize some piece of the DNA of this, and it's why I used to like snotty fucking punk bands. And I got the DNA of it. And I think a lot of it is, right, those things all cross over with that performative quality and that camp quality that's pointed out by our person in the crowd tonight, Scarlett. And I think there's so much truth to it. And in the same way that I remember in the 80s growing up when punk rockers were in movies, and it would be like they would have like safety pins through their cheeks and big orange mohawks, and we were supposed to be like, those are bad people. And then you get to grow up and go to punk rock shows, and you're like, oh, this is just where like people who like arts and don't want to be called homophobic names for it all hang out together and support actually the people with the spikes and the crazy hair. It's just a way to get the jocks to be scared so they leave the rest of us alone. They're performing a public fucking service is what they're doing. They're keeping the jocks away. And you start to realize and then they all grow up to like run coffee shops and galleries and now breweries all over New Jersey. Have we noticed that all the breweries in New Jersey are run by ex-punk rockers? It's everywhere, caller. Check it out when you come hang out in Jersey.
All of that you said I agree with.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Caller, what else do we need to know? We've gone in so many different directions. We've got about 6 minutes left. I want to know what else you want to get off your chest here tonight.
I don't know. I just kind of wanted to chat, to be honest.
Well, mission accomplished. We've been chatting.
I don't know. There's like other stuff about me, but I don't know if, like, we need like to get into all that. But yeah, I've had a great time chatting with you.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that it would just be this much about black metal in Philly, but
yeah, I mean, you got the crowd on your side with all the Eagles stuff, for sure. You know what? Since we're in Philly and we've talked so much about Philly tonight, and since we're kind of winding down, I also just want to go on record and say, I honestly don't think I can't remember a time where I've laughed harder than when Rudy Giuliani gave that speech at that fucking Four Seasons place. That was so good and so funny. And I remember my wife, like, My wife is someone who she talks about politics in limited bursts when, and she, like, not before bed. And I really respect it. Like, she doesn't want to be stressed out. But I remember I was reading all about it the night it happened. And then I got into bed and I wasn't even looking at my phone anymore. I was just thinking about it. And I was laughing so hard that she woke up. I was like trying to stifle my laughter. And then she woke up and she was like, "What's going on?" And I was like, "You don't like talking about politics at night, but I think the greatest thing of our lifetimes just happened." And she was like, "What is it?" And I was like, "Rudy Giuliani just gave like a very serious press conference at some weird landscaping business on the outskirts of Philly, and I'm pretty sure he thought he booked a high-end hotel, and then nobody told him not to fucking go through with it." And I started just crying laughing. And as I think about the most Philly things of all time, and then I've heard that people stage punk shows at that place now as just a big fuck you to Rudy Giuliani, and I like that a lot too. I like that a lot too. What's that?
Yeah.
He's been disbarred?
I was going to say that does sound like a very silly thing. What did they say?
Someone just wanted to remind me that Rudy Giuliani has been disbarred and legally can't practice the law anymore, which I think is pretty cool. Kyle.
Wait, to end the call, actually.
Yeah, no.
Wait, could I ask the crowd a question?
Absolutely.
So my best friend is going to be visiting soon, and they've never been to the East Coast. So I would love to know what people think, like I should do in Philly specific.
If we need some Philly, friend is visiting for the first time, want to impress them, I'm sure people are going to use the hashtag, and if you want to yell some stuff out, I'm into it. In the meantime, Liz says, "Never thought we'd get into queer anthropological theory at a Philly podcast taping, but you know what? I'm here for it. Happy month after Pride Month." Kyle suggests that we end the call with one more Eagles chant. I think that should happen towards the end. And in the meantime, I want suggestions for our caller on what she should do when her friend visits the city. What do you guys think? Let's see. What's that? Mutter Museum while it's still there. Wait, the Mutter Museum is going away?
Oh, really?
There's controversy? The Mutter Museum is one of the greatest places. You go look at weird fucking bones and shit like that, man. I went there before a show a couple years ago. I also just wiped my nose with my hand. I have no handkerchief. The crowd just saw me accidentally snot, and I was like, what am I going to do? So you all saw it happen, and I'm not going to deny it. I'm a man of the people. Wait, the Mutter Museum, for anybody who hasn't been, is like basically just a museum. The shorthand is that it's a classy museum full of fucked up shit. They're dealing with some controversy. Oh, goddamn new owners, man. Ain't that always the way? Keep it as it is. The Wagner Institute. We have someone saying, hang out at the underpass next to the entrance of the zoo. That was my brother's suggestion. Pinto says, go out to Jersey, go to the Grounds for Sculpture in Hamilton. Crowd is cheering on that one. That is like a fucked up art museum that a rich man made. That's true, because no one wanted to display his art. John's Water Ice, for sure. Someone says John's Water Ice. Liz says, go down the shore, get a slice of Manco and Manco, a.k.a. tax fraud pizza.
Wait a second. Why, when I asked, what should we do in Philly? Why?
Everybody's going, I wasn't going to say it.
They're telling me to go to Jersey,
Everybody's
Chris.
talking about Jersey. What to do in Philly? Hang out in Jersey. I'm not saying, but I'm saying. Nuance Appreciator says Angelo's, Middle Child Clubhouse, Center City Pretzel Co. Kyle says South Street has great stores and food. Don't take them to Pat's or Gino's. Independence Hall is always fun. Go see the Liberty Bell. Also, Ocean City, New Jersey, always fun. I'm not saying, but the Philly people are showing love. Listen, though, there is a weird thing where all of a sudden Philly just took over like Hamilton and Collingswood, New Jersey, right? We all know that. We got people suggesting Ish Kabibbles for a cheesesteak. We got Lauren saying Barnes Foundation and PMOA if she's an art person. Oh, I'll also put this out here because my brother told me to go here with my kid. What's that park that has that big giant unsafe wooden slide? Smith Park? The Smith Playground. If they have kids, bring them there. It shouldn't. Other places in the country would not allow that to happen. There's a slide with no attendant, and they give kids actual potato sacks, and they're like, have fucking fun. By the way, no posted rules. And it's just kids crashing into each other at high velocities. It's pretty great. What's that? Longwood Gardens? We've got Longwood Gardens. People trying to class it up around here, man. 4 Seasons Total Landscaping has been suggested. Great photo op. Great photo op. We've got 10 seconds left. Let's lead that Eagles chant, caller. One last Eagles chant. Let's go. Right down to 0. Caller, thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for listening to our lovely live episode from Philly. We got to get some more live Beautiful Anonymouses on the book. I got a lot of stand-up dates out there, but I think I'm going to get through those stand-up dates, take a big deep breath, schedule some live Beautiful Anonymouses. Who knows where? Do you tell me where? Okay? Caller. First of all, thank you for calling, as always. Thank you to our Philly crowd for showing up and reacting in all the right ways. And it's funny, because I don't think we've ever had truly rowdy crowds at Beautiful Anonymous. But a Philly crowd is still the rowdiest you're going to get, and I've always loved that town for that. Thanks to Andrea Quinn for producing the show. Thanks to Shell Shag for our theme music. If you want to know more about me, including all my tour dates, and there's a whole bunch of them up right now. I'm out there on the road as you hear this. I'm in Indiana tonight, the day this comes out. Go to punchup.live/Chris Gethard. You can join the Facebook group at Beautiful Anonymous, the community. You can leave a voicemail at 973-306-4676. You can follow us on Instagram at Beautiful Anonymous Pod. This week on Beautiful Anonymous Plus, here's some of what you'll get from the 5 questions.
If you could meet any past Beautiful Anonymous caller and have lunch with them, which one would it be?
I love that question. You've been listening since 2016. Who do you want to have lunch with?
Okay, so I want to say Parade Girl because she is just, her mind amazes me.
Yeah, she's a mastermind. Parade Girl, I could almost definitely arrange a lunch between you two. I could make that happen if you want. How fun would that be for Philly?
Me, though.
She's an intimidating presence, but she's very cool in person. If she comes through Philly, I can almost guarantee that she's going to, not only would she have lunch with you, she would email you somehow, and then you'd be like, oh, I guess you got my info from Chris, and she'd be like, no, I just figured out who you were, tracked it down, let's get lunch. Don't forget to sign up for Beautiful Anonymous Plus at beautifulanonymous.com.
This is your before and after story. Instead of imagining a rewarding career in medical imaging, Southeastern College can actually take you there. Prepare for a career in ultrasound, radiology, and X-ray technology. With hands-on specialized training, simulations, and real-life experience with the latest imaging technology, you'll be ready to play a vital role on any healthcare team. Transform your life by helping others. Southeastern College. Your future is bright. Visit scc.edu to get started.
Welcome to Combat Story. I'm Ryan Fugit, and I served Warzone tours as an Army attack helicopter pilot and CIA officer over a 15-year career. I'm fascinated by the experiences of the elite in combat. On this show, I interview some of the best to understand what combat felt like on their front lines. This is Combat Story.
They were pinned down from a Dishka, and the Dishka was coming from the 3rd story of a 7-story apartment building, and then we blew that 3rd story out within maybe a minute and a half or 2 minutes of getting that 9-line